unless there's an issue like they need an MUA or something. I usually don't see people.
What's an MUA?
Manipulation Under Anesthesia.
Yeah.
Break.
So what? Yeah. What is that actually?
So, finish my point. I usually don't see people after, I don't know, 3 months, maybe 4. Usually by that point they're doing stuff on their own, and I give them my card. I'm like, email if you have a problem. Right? They can finish it on their own. They don't need PT past that. They can go see a personal trainer. Now, if they get stiff, like this guy I was telling you about, he's locked in. You get adhesive capsulitis, not frozen shoulder that people get randomly out of the blue and they did all the studies on. They have no idea why it happens. That's a whole other world.
And it supposedly goes away eventually.
And it goes away on its own. They don't know why. PT doesn't help. It's a whole other thing. People can get adhesive capsulitis, frozen shoulder, from disuse, right? They can also get it post-op, right? And that's why the passive range of motion at the beginning is vital, is because we don't want them to get stiff. We don't want the capsule to lock in place.
And so what do they have to do if they get that?
So if you get that, that's when you get the MUA.
MUA stands for?
Manipulation Under Anesthesia.
So that
basically they knock you out just like in surgery. The surgeon grabs your arm and slowly, it's not a rip. It's not, okay, we're done. No, it's very slow and very controlled.
Yeah.
And they stabilize the scapula. They have you lay it on your side, and they have you lay it on your back. They have you lay it on your stomach, and they force it through.
Yeah, Google it. It's pretty cool watching the video of it. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then after that, you should expect what in therapy?
So then it's vital. It is absolutely vital. And you have to go to PT after an MUA. You can't just not do PT after an MUA.
And it's daily.
And we tried it. We usually don't have the authorization to do it daily, just workers' comp insurance, but it needs to be every day. You're doing something every day to move it. But no, I tell people you're going to come in the same day or the next day after it, and I'm going to move your shoulder like you've never felt before.
It's great if you can get them in that same day. I used to try to talk to the surgeon, when are we doing this? Let's get you out in here. I literally just have an opening in my schedule to get them in.
Usually when people are getting an MUA, I tell them beforehand, if this is what's happening, PT is going to get real aggressive. I'm going to be real aggressive with your passive after this, because basically, I tell people, this is the surgeon's handiwork right here. It's like your surgeon has built this thing inside of you, and it's up to me to make it work, right? So the surgeon and the PT, they have to work as a team, and they have to communicate with this. But man, I've had, I think, 3 or 4 MUA patients in the last couple years, and some of them do really great with it. Some of them, they stiffen right back up. I had a lady that had to have 2 MUAs. She was a police officer, and she was wrestling somebody and got on the ground, and she tore her labrum, she tore her biceps tendon. It was all messed up, and she had to have 2 MUAs. And the second one was brutal. She did not take well to it. She got sick after the anesthesia. She didn't come to therapy for a week after it. And
waste of time.
She got stiff. But luckily, the second MUA worked pretty good, and I told her, I was like, look, I am not going to be your friend anymore. I'm going to move your shoulder. It is going to move. It takes time to get to that point where the doctor decides to do an MUA. He wants to see how aggressive is PT being with you, and what is your actual motion? And what's the infield like? What is it? Is it guarding infield? Is it muscular? Is it boom? Is it a block? Is it hard? Is it firm? Is it give a little bit whenever you do a fast, or does it give a little bit when you do it slow? There's so many different things that go into it. But once it gets to that point, and the surgeon's like, yeah, we're doing an MUA, it's go time. Now, the other option that I do with some patients that I can see they're getting stiff, and I'm probably going to do this for that guy that I was telling you about, is get a jazz machine or a stretcher. Basically, it's a contraption.
It's the one that they used to use for the knee replacement.
Yeah, they got 2 knobs. One knob does this, the other one does this.
Oh,
I think
that's
I saw that before I did that.
It locks onto the chair, right? And it's a contraption. You just set your arm in it. You just sit there and you crank the knobs, and you get it to go. You get it to that point, and then you just sit there for 10 minutes.
And how would he know about posture and the scapular retraction, and not allow that device to actually do this?
Right. The device is actually designed pretty well. It prevents that because it's got a strap.
Oh, okay.
That straps down.
So.
But the other side of that is us educating the patient to make sure they're paying attention to that, because they should know, they should be just as knowledgeable as you are about these compensation things.
Of course.
They should.
And they take that home with them. Take that home with them.
There's a rep that I call, and he'll show up to the house and he'll set it up. And that's another point is the rep.
You better have a good rep.
It should be pretty good, and I only use the good ones. And they'll set it up, they'll teach them how to use it, and they'll talk to them about that stuff. And they should. And usually after it gets set up, I'll ask them follow-up questions like, are you compensating? Are you doing it in front of the mirror? What are you doing while you do it? Like just to make sure they're doing it right. Because you're right. If they are compensating when they're doing it, you're just teaching bad habits.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Very important.
We should interview the jazz person.
We don't use jazz machines anymore. JAZ.
Yeah, ZZ or something like that.
I can't remember. Yeah. We use another company called, I forgot the name, but the machine is called the Flexinator.